Welcome everyone to our Lively Later Life family. So glad you could join us today. You've tuned into Lively Later Life, your guide really for navigating all those government programs and, well, the financial resources you need for a retirement that's not just secure, but truly vibrant. And today, we're diving into something really important, a topic that honestly can be a genuine financial lifeline for so many seniors right across Canada.
That's exactly right. Today, we're focusing on the Guaranteed Income Supplement. You probably know it as the GIS. We really want to unlock sort of the power of this program for you and also shed some light on other low-income benefits that also, they go hand in hand with GIS. Our goal here is pretty simple. Make sure you have all the information you need, feel confident about your financial well-being, and, to really show why this info is so critical, I wanted to share a story. It's about someone, let's call her Eleanor. Her story really reminds us why these programs exist in the first place.
Oh, Eleanor. Yes, I always find these real life stories so impactful. They turn these, abstract policies into something really tangible, don't they? Tell us about her.
Well, Eleanor, she's a retired administrative assistant, lives out in Surrey, British Columbia. And like quite a few Canadian seniors, she found herself in a bit of a tough financial spot after retiring. She had a modest pension, and her old age security, her OAS, but well, it just wasn't quite stretching far enough to cover everything comfortably. Now, she'd heard whispers about the GIS, maybe saw a pamphlet somewhere, but like so many people do, she assumed she wouldn't qualify.
Ah, the dreaded assumption.
Exactly. She thought, well, I have some income, it's not zero, so I guess I'm out of luck. And that assumption left her in that really difficult place, constantly juggling bills, trying to make every single dollar stretch for food, for utilities, and especially for her necessary medications. There's just, well, never quite enough left over for even a small treat, let alone handling an unexpected expense like a broken appliance or something.
Oh, I can only imagine. That feeling. I bet far too many of you listening can unfortunately relate to that constant sort of gnawing worry about money. It's utterly exhausting, isn't it? It can really just drain the joy out of what should be your golden years. It's like this silent burden that just weighs you down.
It truly is a heavy weight. But here's where Eleanor's story takes a really hopeful turn. And it really underscores a powerful lesson for all of us, I think. Her turning point, it didn't come from some confusing government website or a complicated brochure. It actually came from a friend, someone at her local community center. The friend, she'd navigated the system herself. She saw Eleanor struggling, and she basically took her by the hand, figuratively speaking, and she patiently, step by step, helped her through the GIS application process.
Oh, that's wonderful. Helping communities.
Isn't it just? And what Eleanor discovered, well, it was genuinely life-changing for her. She found out she was eligible for an extra few $100s every single month.
Wow. A few $100s.
Yeah. Imagine the relief. For her, it was, as she put it, an absolute game changer. She actually told me, and I wrote it down, she said, I can finally afford my medication and not worry about every single grocery bill. I just didn't know I was entitled to it.
I just didn't know I was entitled to it. That line, it hits hard, doesn't it? That's so incredibly powerful. Eleanor's story is just the perfect living example of why digging into this information, why we're talking about this today, is so absolutely vital. It's not just about, filling out forms or dealing with bureaucracy. It's profoundly about getting peace of mind. It's about dignity. It's about actually being able to live your later life without that constant crushing weight of financial stress. It's the freedom, like you said, not to have to choose between medicine and a decent meal.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating here, beyond Eleanor's personal win, is how her experience shines a light on something fundamental about the GIS. This program, it really is a cornerstone of Canada's social safety net for seniors. It's designed specifically to ensure a basic foundational level of financial security for those who need it most, like a baseline for a dignified retirement. But just as Eleanor's situation showed so clearly, there are still far too many Canadians out there who are perfectly eligible, but they just don't know it. Or maybe they feel intimidated by the whole process.
Yeah, the paperwork can seem daunting.
It can. Or worse, sometimes people feel, a sense of shame, like they think it's a handout or somehow they don't deserve it, which really raises an important question, doesn't it? Why is there sometimes this disconnect between the program's good intentions and the people it's actually meant to help? It's a puzzle, really.
And that's such a crucial point to hammer home, because the truth is, this is not a handout. Not even close. This is a supplement you are absolutely, unequivocally entitled to if you meet the criteria. It's a really vital part of Canada's social contract. It's a commitment our country makes to its seniors, helping ensure that foundational level of support as we age. Think of it maybe as, I don't know, recognition for all your contributions to Canadian society over your lifetime.
Precisely. You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah?
And that's the core message we really want everyone listening to take away today. This program is here for you. It's a testament really to our collective responsibility as a society to look after our elders.
So, thinking about Eleanor, does her story resonate deeply with you, our lively later life family? Maybe you've been in a similar boat, grappling with that uncertainty, or maybe just feeling overwhelmed by the thought of dealing with government forms. And hey, if you are currently receiving the GIS, maybe take a moment to reflect. What's been the biggest difference it's made in your day-to-day life? Has it, I don't know, maybe allowed for more visits with grandkids or ease those persistent money worries? Something to think about as we go along here.
Because understanding what you're entitled to, that's not just the first step, It's really the most empowering one. It lets you claim what is rightfully yours.
And that really is our core mission for you today. We're going to try and take the mystery out of the Guaranteed Income Supplement. We'll break it down into clear, understandable pieces. We'll explain exactly who it's for, walk you through how to apply step by step, and crucially, show you where you can find free, reliable help. Because you should never feel like you have to navigate this all alone. Our ultimate goal is to empower you, our listeners, to access every single dollar you're entitled to. We want to help ensure your later life is lived with the financial peace of mind you genuinely deserve. You've earned it. So let's get started. Let's really dig in. Okay, let's start right at the beginning, the absolute basics. What exactly is the Guaranteed Income Supplement? The GIS, it's a term we hear tossed around a lot, but maybe not everyone fully grasps, what it actually means or its significance.
That's a perfect place to start. Because understanding the GIS at its core is, well, essential. Think of it quite simply as a top-up. It's an amount added directly onto your old age your OAS pension. And importantly, it's a non-taxable top-up. It's a monthly financial benefit paid out by the federal government, specifically designed for low-income seniors right here in Canada.
Non-taxable. That sounds important.
Oh, it's incredibly significant.
Yeah.
And honestly, often overlooked. What non-taxable means is that, unlike some other kinds of income, the money you receive from GIS isn't added to your taxable income for the year. You won't owe any income tax on your GIS payments come tax time.
Oh, okay.
For seniors living on a fixed income, it's huge, right?
Sure.
Every single non-taxable dollar makes a real substantial difference in your actual take-home funds. It's pure spendable income. Goes directly into your bank account, free from any further taxation. It really does act like an extra layer of, well, crucial financial security.
Okay, so it's not something separate, floating on its own. It works with your OAS, but only for those who really need that extra bit of support. It really does sound like a lifeline.
Exactly. It is a targeted benefit. It's designed very intentionally as a financial safety net for those seniors who have little or maybe even no other income besides their old age security. Think about it. Maybe you didn't have a big private pension from a long-term employer. Or perhaps your Canada pension plan CPP contributions were minimal because, I don't know, you worked jobs that weren't covered by CPP, or maybe you took years out of the paid workforce for really vital caregiving responsibilities, like raising kids or looking after elderly parents.
Which so many people did, especially women of a certain generation.
Absolutely. So the GIS is designed to step into that gap, to provide that essential base income for those folks. That's precisely why it's often called a top-up. It fills in the gaps where the financial need is greatest. And what's really key here, a core insight, is the sort of inverse relationship that's built into it. Basically, the less income you have coming in from other sources like CPP, private pensions, work income, the more GIS you are likely to receive. This structure ensures the benefit is always directed where it can make the biggest, most meaningful difference.
Okay, that makes sense. So that inverse relationship, could you maybe give us a quick, simple example just to make it really clear?
Sure. Let's imagine two seniors. Both are receiving the maximum OAS payment. Okay. Now, Senior A also has a small private pension. Let's say it brings in $500 a month. Senior B, on the other hand, has virtually no other income at all, just their OAS. In this scenario, Senior B, the one with no other income, would receive a significantly higher GIS payment than Senior A. Why? Because their demonstrated financial need is greater. As your other income goes up, the amount of GIS you receive gradually goes down. It's designed essentially to bring everyone up to a similar minimum baseline of financial support. to ensure nobody falls below a certain basic standard of living in retirement, it really embodies that idea of a safety net, right?
Yeah.
Designed to catch those who might otherwise fall through the financial cracks.
Right, right. Leveling the playing field a bit for those with less. And you made a really critical point earlier that I want to circle back to because I think it causes a lot of anxiety for people. You said it's a payment, not a loan. That must be a massive relief for anyone thinking about applying. I can just imagine people hesitating, thinking, oh gosh, will I have to pay this back someday? Will my kids inherit a debt?
This is so, so crucial. And it's a misconception we really need to dispel loud and clear. The GIS is unequivocally a payment you receive. It absolutely does not need to be paid back, ever. There are no strings attached in terms of future repayment.
Really?
This isn't a loan you take out. It's not some kind of advance that needs to be settled up later. It is a genuine entitlement based on your income situation.
Okay, that's clear.
Knowing this, truly understanding this, can remove a huge psychological barrier for many seniors. People who might otherwise just shy away from applying because they fear future debt or complications down the road. It's a fundamental benefit provided by the Canadian government to support its low-income seniors. It allows you to use that money right now to improve your quality of life without any worry about it being clawed back later. It really reflects Canada's commitment, that social contract you mentioned, to our seniors' well-being.
That certainty, knowing it's yours to keep, must bring tremendous peace of mind. So just to recap that core idea for you, our lively later life family, think of the GIS as your financial safety net. But remember, as you said, it's not for every single senior. It is specifically and intentionally targeted towards those with a low income. This ensures the resources go where they are most genuinely needed.
Yes, that's the absolute key takeaway. It's a truly vital support system. It can provide that extra bit of money you need, maybe for your medications, maybe for buying healthier food instead of just the cheapest option, or for covering those other essential bills, hydro, heating that can feel so overwhelming when you're on a really tight budget. And, beyond just covering the absolute basics, that often means the difference, the profound difference between having to make those impossible choices. Do I buy my pills this week or do I buy enough groceries? And finally being able to comfortably afford both. It might allow for a small social outing, maybe afford a bus pass to visit friends or family, reducing isolation. Or maybe it covers a minor repair around the house, something simple that might otherwise be completely out of reach financially. It brings a degree of predictability back into your finances, reduces that day-to-day financial anxiety, and genuinely enables a more comfortable, more dignified later life. It's really about empowering choice, even those small, everyday choices.
Okay, so now we have a really solid understanding of what GIS actually is. The next big practical question on everyone's mind has got to be, okay, sounds good, but how do I know if I actually qualify for the GIS? What are those key eligibility criteria people should be looking at? Because this is where, like Eleanor, folks might mistakenly count themselves out before they even start.
Yeah, that's often the very first hurdle, isn't it? Just figuring out if you even fit the bill. There are a few key eligibility criteria, and actually they're quite straightforward once you break them down. First off, age. You must be 65 years old or older. That's a hard and fast rule, same as for old age security.
Okay, 65 plus, got it. Second, residency. You must be a resident of Canada. Generally, this means you live in Canada. There are specific rules about length of residency, especially if you lived outside Canada for periods. But basically, you need to be residing here.
Reside in Canada, check.
And third, this is crucial. You must also be actively receiving the Old Age Security OAS pension. Remember how we said GIS is a top-up? Well, tops up your OAS. So you have to already be approved for and getting your OAS payments to be eligible for GIS. They're fundamentally linked. You can't get GIS without OAS.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. OAS is the foundation. GIS builds on top of it for those who need it. Got it.
Yeah.
But now, the big one, income. That seems to be the part that trips a lot of people up, doesn't it? Especially people like Eleanor, who might just assume, oh, I probably earn too much. You're absolutely right. The income test is definitely the most important part, and it's where most of the confusion and those incorrect assumptions tend to lie. Okay, so here's the rule. Your annual income, or importantly, your combined annual income, if you have a spouse or common law partner, must be below a certain amount, a specific threshold. Now, this amount, this threshold, it's not set in stone forever. It actually changes every year. Service Canada adjusts these income cutoffs, usually quarterly, based on things like inflation and the cost of living. They publish these updated figures on their official website.
So it adjusts.
It does. Just to give you a ballpark figure. And remember, these change, so always check the current numbers. But, for example, near the end of 2023, If you were a single senior, your annual income needed to be below roughly $21,480 to qualify for some GIS. If you were part of a couple and both of you were receiving OAS, your combined income needed to be below about $28,416. And if you're a couple where only one spouse receives OAS, maybe the other spouse is under 65, the combined income threshold was higher, around $51,504. Again, these are just examples from late 2023. They do change. Always check the latest info from Service Canada. But it gives you an idea of the levels we're talking about.
Right. Ballpark figures are helpful. And I guess this is where that crucial advice you mentioned earlier, don't assume, really comes into play, doesn't it?
Precisely. That is absolutely the single biggest mistake people make. They just assume their income is too high without actually verifying it against the official thresholds. And crucially, understanding what Income Service Canada actually counts. So many seniors, maybe they have a small company pension kicking in,
Sure.
or perhaps a modest amount from RRIF withdrawals or some investment income, and they immediately think, oh, well, that's it for me. I earned too much for GIS.
Yeah, I can see that happening easily.
But here's the critical clarification. This is the part very few people seem to realize, and it's key. Your income for GIS eligibility is specifically based on your net income, as reported on your income tax return from the previous year. Specifically, they look at line 23600 on your T1 general tax form. That's the number Service Canada uses to determine your GIS eligibility for the payment year, which runs from July to June.
Line 23600, net income from last year's tax return.
Okay, so wait, does that mean it's not about what you have sitting in savings or the value of your house or car? It's about what you actually earned and reported as income last year. That's a huge distinction. It is. And this is where the details really matter. Your eligibility for the GIS is not based on your assets. So things like the money you have in your savings account, the value of your home if you own one, the amount in your RRSPs or your TFSAs or your GICs, those are considered assets, not income. They're not counted against you when Service Canada determines if you qualify for GIS.
Wow, okay.
This is a really widespread point of confusion. Many people think, oh, I own my home, or I have some savings tucked away for emergencies, so I can't possibly get GIS. But that's not how it works. You could theoretically have a substantial amount in savings, but if your annual taxable income reported on your return last year falls below that threshold, you can still qualify for GIS. And here's another really key point that often surprises people. The calculation doesn't include your OAS payment itself. Yes. When Service Canada calculates your income for GIS purposes, they intentionally exclude the amount of OAS pension you received. They're looking at your other income sources: CBP, private pensions, employment earnings, if any, RRIF withdrawals, certain investment income, etc., but not your OAS. This truly reframes that whole idea of low income in the context of GIS, doesn't it? It potentially makes qualification possible for many more seniors than they might initially imagine.
That is a major revelation for a lot of people listening, I bet. It completely changes the perspective. It means people who thought, oh, my OAS pushes me over the limit, might actually be eligible after all.
Absolutely. And one more important thing about eligibility. It's not a one-time check that's set in stone forever. Your eligibility for GIS is actually reevaluated every single year, automatically, if you file your taxes.
Every year.
Every year. This is why, even if maybe you didn't qualify before, perhaps a few years ago you had a different income stream, maybe you were still working part-time or your spouse was, you might very well qualify now. People's financial situations can change quite dramatically over time, right? Maybe you stopped that part-time job. Or maybe an investment matured and it isn't paying out anymore. Or, sometimes, tragically, a spouse's income changes because they've passed away. Service Canada accounts for these shifts annually, based on your tax return. This offers ongoing opportunities for seniors to qualify as their circumstances evolve. It's never too late to check again if your income has dropped or if you've experienced a major life event that impacts your finances. And actually, on that point about a spouse passing away, there's a special provision. Service Canada can actually recalculate your GIS based on your estimated current income for the year of death and the following year, rather than making you wait based on the previous year's higher combined income. That's a really critical detail for many facing such a difficult transition.
Oh, that's incredibly important and compassionate. So the system has some flexibility for major life changes. That's very encouraging news. So for you, our listeners, it sounds like the most effective, the most straightforward way to know for sure if you qualify and to stay qualified if you are is simply to do what? File your taxes every single year.
That is exactly right. It is the simplest, the most crucial, the single most effective action you can possibly take, bar none. Service Canada works very closely with the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA. So when you file your annual tax return, Service Canada automatically get the income information they need, that line 23,600 figure. They use that to reevaluate your eligibility for GIS for the upcoming payment year, which starts in July. In most cases, you don't need to send them a separate income statement or fill out extra complex forms just for GIS if you're consistently filing your taxes each year. The system is really designed to be as automatic as possible once you've done your part by filing that annual tax return. It truly minimizes the bureaucratic hassle for you. File your taxes, let the system do the work.
Okay, file your taxes. Message received loud and clear. Now, let's move on to the practical side, the application process itself. You mentioned earlier, expert speaker, that it can seem daunting, but for many people, it's actually automatic. Can you walk us through those different pathways? How does one actually get the GIS ball rolling?
Certainly. And yeah, it's true. The whole idea of applying for government benefits can sometimes conjure up images of endless forms, maybe frustrating phone calls on hold, long waits. It can seem intimidating. But honestly, for the Guaranteed Income Supplement, Service Canada really has made significant strides over the years to simplify the process as much as possible, especially for those seniors who are already kind of in their system because they're getting OAS. They genuinely want eligible seniors to receive these benefits.
Okay, that's a huge relief to hear right off the bat. So what's the ideal scenario? The easy path for applying? The one that makes life simplest for seniors?
Right? The ideal scenario, and this actually applies to a really significant number of seniors turning 65 or already over 65, is what we call the automatic enrollment or automatic application. Here's how it works. If you're already receiving your old age security OAS pension, and your income tax information is completely up to date with the Canada Revenue Agency, because, say it with me,
you consistently file your taxes every year.
You got it. If those two conditions are met, then Service Canada will often just take care of everything for you proactively. They will automatically review your tax information from the CRA, determine your eligibility for GIS based on those income figures we talked about, below the threshold, excluding OAS income, etc. And if you qualify, they will send you a letter, a clear notification in the mail telling you that you are eligible and that they will automatically start paying you the GIS, usually starting the month after you turn 65 or as soon as possible after they determine eligibility if you're older. It's a truly wonderful system when it works like that. It significantly reduces stress and paperwork for a huge number of eligible seniors. Imagine, in many cases, you don't even have to lift a finger to apply. The government identifies you and gets the payments started.
Well, that sounds almost too good to be true for a government program. Automatic enrollment, that's fantastic. But what if you didn't get that notification letter? Does that automatically mean you're out of luck? Or is there another path forward if you think you might be eligible but didn't hear anything?
No, not at all. And this is a really critical point where you might need to take some action yourself. If you didn't receive a notification letter automatically enrolling you in GIS, it absolutely does not mean you're not eligible. Don't make that assumption. It might simply mean that Service Canada didn't have all the necessary information they needed to make an automatic decision. Maybe your tax information wasn't fully up to date for some reason. Or perhaps your income dropped significantly recently, and their system, which looks at last year's income, hasn't caught up to your current situation yet. Or maybe you're a new senior who just turned 65 and applied for OAS, but the GIS part wasn't triggered automatically for some reason. In these cases, you would need to proceed with what we call the manual application. You need to actively apply yourself.
Okay, manual application. So how does one do that? What are the options?
You've got a couple of main ways to do the manual application. You can apply for the GIS either by mail, the traditional way. You typically download the application form from the Service Canada website or call them and ask them to mail you one. You fill it out completely, attach any required documents, though often it's mainly the form itself if your taxes are filed, and then mail it in to the specified Service Canada processing center.
Okay, paper and mail is one option.
Yes. Or, increasingly, and often this is the faster and more convenient way, especially if you're comfortable online, you can apply online through your My Service Canada account.
Ah, the My Service Canada account. That sounds efficient, but I know some folks might find the idea of setting up another online account a bit, well, mysterious or maybe even intimidating if they aren't very tech savvy. Can you explain briefly what that account is and maybe how someone might go about setting it up, especially if they've never used it before?
Absolutely, and it's a fair point. Technology can be daunting sometimes. But the My Service Canada account is actually a really useful tool. Think of it as your secure, personalized online portal. It's like your own little window into managing all your government benefits and information from Service Canada. This includes not just GIS, but also your OAS, your Canada pension plan, CBP details, and even employment insurance EI information if that ever applies. It's essentially like having a dedicated Service Canada office available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right from your own home computer or tablet or even your smartphone.
Right, like a personal dashboard.
Exactly. Through this account, you can do lots of things. You can view your upcoming payment dates for OAS and GIS. You can update your banking information for direct deposit easily. You can access and print your tax slips like your T4A, OAS, and T4AP. And importantly for our discussion, you can often apply for benefits like the GIS directly online through the account. It's designed to provide convenience, speed, and transparency. Now, setting it up, you'll definitely need your social insurance number, SIN, handy. Then you generally have two main options to register and sign in. Option one is using what's called a sign-in partner. This usually involves using your existing online login information from your Canadian bank or credit union. If you already do online banking, this can be a very seamless and secure way to access your My Service Canada account without creating yet another username and password to remember.
Using your bank login. That sounds easier.
It often is for many people. Option two is to register directly with the government by creating something called a GC key. This is basically a unique electronic credential, a username and password provided by the Government of Canada that you use to access various government online services, including My Service Canada account. Now, while it might seem a bit daunting at first if you're not used to setting up online accounts, Service Canada does provide pretty clear instructions on their website. And honestly, the convenience it offers once it's set up, being able to check payments, apply online, get messages, it's usually well worth the initial effort. Libraries or community centers sometimes offer help at this too.
It's really good to know there are different ways in, and that help might be available locally. And speaking of help, even with these streamlined processes, some people just feel much better having a guiding hand, don't they? Or they might feel overwhelmed by the forms, whether online or on paper. Where can people find free, reliable help? You mentioned earlier you don't have to do this alone, and that's such a comforting thought for so many people.
You absolutely, definitely do not have to do this alone. And there are some wonderful, dedicated resources available specifically to assist seniors with these kinds of applications. Help is out there. First and foremost, you can always call the main Service Canada information line. Their toll-free number is readily available on the government website. The agents who answer those phones are trained specifically to answer your questions about the GIS. They can help clarify if you might be eligible based on your situation. They can explain the application process step by step, whether it's the automatic process or the manual one. They are the direct official source of authoritative information.
So call Service Canada first.
It's a great starting point. It's literally their job to assist you. When you call, just make sure you have your social insurance number, SIN, ready, because they'll need that to securely access your file and give you personalized information. They can even mail you the application forms if you prefer working with paper. Don't hesitate to call them.
Okay, the official source is always good, but what about more local help? Maybe in-person assistance for those who prefer face-to-face interaction or perhaps feel intimidated making those official phone calls.
Yeah, absolutely. For that kind of in-person, hands-on support, I highly recommend looking into community volunteer income tax programs, often just called community tax clinics. Many communities right across Canada have these free tax clinics. They're especially prevalent during tax season, obviously, but some operate year-round or have specific sessions for seniors. They're often tailored specifically to help low-income individuals, seniors, new immigrants, or people with simple tax situations.
Free tax clinics, run by volunteers.
Exactly, often run by incredibly compassionate volunteers. These could be accounting students getting practical experience, maybe retired financial professionals giving back, or just trained community members who want to help. And here's the great part. They can usually do more than just help you file your annual income tax return, which, as we've stressed maybe a dozen times now,
As utterly crucial for GIS. Yes, we get it.
Good. But beyond filing taxes, these clinic volunteers can often also directly help you with your GIS application itself. They understand the forms, they know the common questions, the nuances. They provide a supportive, patient, and completely non-judgmental environment. It's often just having a friendly face sitting beside you, someone who understands those sometimes confusing government forms, who can simplify what might seem complex. It can really help alleviate that application fatigue or anxiety. Check your local library, community center, or senior center. They usually know where these clinics are.
That sounds like an incredibly valuable grassroots resource built right there on community spirit. That's wonderful. Are there other types of nonprofit organizations out there that specifically focus on helping seniors navigate these kinds of benefits applications?
Yes, definitely. Beyond the tax clinics, you'll often find many nonprofit organizations whose entire mission is focused on senior support and advocacy. For instance, in many larger cities like Vancouver, Surrey, Victoria, Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, you often have organizations with names like Seniors Resource Societies, Councils on Aging, or dedicated seniors community centers. These organizations are often incredible hubs of information and support. They frequently provide a really wide range of assistance for seniors who need help with benefits applications, not just GIS, but also things like provincial supplements, disability benefits, housing applications, you name it.
So, more holistic support.
Exactly. They often have trained staff like caseworkers or system navigators who can actually sit down with you one-on-one, really listen to understand your unique personal situation, help you identify all the benefits you might be entitled to, some you might not even know exist, and then actively assist you with the application process from beginning to end. They offer a much more holistic approach to supporting seniors' overall well-being, financial, social health, and they can be a consistent source of support over time, not just a one-off tax appointment. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to your local seniors organizations. They are there to help.
These resources, Service Canada, tax clinics, senior centers, they really paint a picture of a system that is designed to help, if you just know where to look. It's not about finding a needle in a haystack, after all. It sounds more like knowing which trusted guides can lead you right to the treasure.
Well put. And this brings us right back around, doesn't it, to what might be the single most critical piece of actionable advice. The absolute cornerstone, the foundation, for ensuring you actually receive your GIS payments without interruption once you qualify. And that is, drumroll please.
File your taxes every year.
You got it. Make sure to file your income taxes every single year. On time, preferably. I honestly cannot emphasize this enough. Here's the direct consequence. If you don't file your taxes, your GIS payments will eventually be stopped. It might not happen immediately, but they will stop. Why? Because filing your taxes is the essential mechanism Service Canada uses to automatically reevaluate your eligibility each year based on your income. No tax return means no income information for them. No information means no confirmation of eligibility. No eligibility means no payment.
Simple as that. Cut and dried.
Pretty much. Even if you know you don't owe any tax, and that's true for many seniors living on a very low income filing, that tax return is still the single most important thing you can do to ensure you get your GIS and keep getting it. It's not about paying more money to the government. For many, it's about providing them with the necessary income information so they can keep your benefit payments flowing smoothly without any stressful interruptions. Please, don't let the fear of taxes, or thinking I don't earn enough to file, or the perceived complexity of doing taxes prevent you from receiving potentially thousands of dollars in benefits each year that you are genuinely entitled to. Find a free tax clinic if you need help. It's a relatively small effort for a very significant reward.
That is such a powerful and truly actionable piece of advice. File your taxes, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, expert speaker, this is where things get really interesting for our listeners, I think, like a bonus round. You hinted that receiving the GIS can actually open the door to other crucial benefits, creating a kind of gateway effect to even more support. I bet many people don't realize that getting GIS might just be the beginning of accessing a much broader safety net.
Absolutely. This is where understanding these programs really shows its cumulative power. It's not just about the GIS dollars themselves, as important as they are. Qualifying for and receiving the federal guaranteed income supplement often acts like a key that unlocks access to a whole range of other crucial support programs, federal ones, provincial ones, sometimes even municipal ones. It's not just about that monthly GIS payment, it's about the broader financial safety net that getting GIS helps to weave around you. It provides layers of support that can go far beyond just boosting your monthly income.
Okay, so it's like GIS acts as a signal. Like it tells other government departments or programs, hey, this person meets the low income criteria, so they likely qualify for our help too. It sort of simplifies things for the senior, potentially.
That's a great way to put it. It often serves as a primary eligibility criterion, or at least a strong indicator for other income-tested programs. Let's start with provincial supplements, because these can add a really significant chunk to your monthly income depending on where you live in Canada. Many provinces and territories offer their own additional monthly benefits specifically for low-income seniors, and these are often directly tied to your GIS eligibility. Sometimes the enrollment is even automatic.
Automatic again. Nice.
Yeah. For instance, let's take British Columbia again, where Eleanor lives. In BC, there's a very important additional top-up supplement paid by the provincial government specifically for low-income seniors who are receiving the federal GIS. It's called the BC Senior Supplement. This program is designed to further enhance the income of seniors living with very limited means, recognizing that the cost of living can be particularly high in BC. And what's wonderfully convenient about the BC Senior Supplement is that, in most cases, once you start receiving the federal GIS from Service Canada, you are automatically enrolled in this provincial program by the BC government. You usually don't need to fill out a separate application form. The federal and provincial systems talk to each other behind the scenes, ensuring you receive this extra layer of monthly support without any additional effort or paperwork on your part.
Oh, that's fantastic. Seamless support.
It is. And these provincial supplements aren't just pennies. Depending on the province and your specific situation, single, couple, income level, they can range from, say, tens of dollars to potentially even a couple $100s extra per month. That makes a real, tangible difference in your daily budgeting power. Check your own province's or territory's government website under Seniors Benefits to see what might be available where you live.
That's great advice. More money in your pocket, potentially without more paperwork. And it really reinforces how these different levels of government programs are supposed to work together, ideally. What about other really essential areas like housing? That is such a huge and pressing concern for so many seniors across the country today.
Housing assistance is definitely another major area where being eligible for GIS can make a profound difference. You're right, the cost of housing, whether it's rent or property taxes and upkeep, is often the single largest and most burdensome expense for seniors living on a fixed, low income. The good news is that many seniors who receive the GIS are also often eligible for various housing assistance programs. The most significant of these is usually rent-geared to income housing, which most people know as subsidized housing.
Subsidized housing.
Right. These programs, typically run by provincial or municipal housing authorities, aim to provide safe, decent, affordable housing options for low-income individuals and families, including seniors. Often, the rent in these units is capped at a certain percentage of your household income, commonly around 30%. Now, imagine you're a senior living primarily on OAS and GIS. Being eligible for and getting into subsidized housing can be absolutely transformative. It can free up hundreds of dollars of precious income each month that might otherwise have gone entirely just to cover rent in the private market. That freed up money can then be used for food, medication, transportation, or simply having a slightly better quality of life.
It provides immense stability.
Immense stability. It significantly reduces that constant gnawing worry about keeping a roof over your head. It allows many seniors to age in place within their communities with dignity and security. And beyond just subsidized housing buildings, keep in mind that GIS eligibility might also make you eligible for other local housing supports, like specific rent supplements, money to help pay rent in the private market, or property tax deferral programs offered by some municipalities or provinces for low-income senior homeowners. It really pays to check with your local municipal government or housing authority about programs available in your specific area, using your GIS eligibility as a starting point.
That's huge. Stable, affordable housing is just such a fundamental building block for well-being, isn't it? Something often taken for granted until you don't have it. Okay, what about healthcare? Another major and often growing concern for many seniors, as health needs increase and costs can quickly accumulate, even in Canada.
Yes, healthcare. This is where we often uncover some of those, let's call them hidden gems, the often overlooked yet incredibly vital benefits that can be linked to GIS status, the ones people don't always know about. For seniors who are receiving the GIS, you might also be eligible for additional healthcare benefits that go above and beyond what your standard provincial health insurance plan covers, like basic doctor visits and hospital stays. These supplementary health benefits can include, for example, things like extended coverage for essential vision care. We're talking about help paying for regular eye exams and maybe even assistance with the cost of prescription eyeglasses or contact lenses. These can be surprisingly expensive out of pocket, and good vision is absolutely crucial for maintaining independence and quality of life as we age.
Oh, glasses are so expensive. That would be a huge help.
Wouldn't it? Another big one is often dental care. Accessing affordable, comprehensive dental care is a significant financial barrier for many seniors, as most routine and major dental work isn't fully covered by provincial health plans. But some provinces have specific programs for low-income seniors, often tied to GIS eligibility, that can help cover the costs of checkups, cleanings, fillings, dentures, and other necessary dental treatments. Maintaining good oral health is really important for overall health, nutrition, and well-being.
Absolutely. So it's not just about the direct financial top-up from GIS itself, but also about reducing those other significant out-of-pocket expenses for things that are really crucial for your overall health and well-being. It helps prevent seniors from having to make those impossible choices, doesn't it?
That's exactly the point. It prevents those awful trade-offs. And beyond vision and dental, these supplementary health benefits, depending on your province or territory, might also extend to other crucial medical needs. Think about coverage for certain medical devices like hearing aids, which are notoriously expensive, or maybe mobility aids like walkers or wheelchairs, or assistance with the costs of certain prescription drugs that might not be fully covered by your provincial drug plan. Some provinces have specific income-tested drug benefit programs where being on GIS can significantly reduce or maybe even completely eliminate your co-payments or deductibles for necessary medications.
Wow. Help with drug costs, too.
It can be a huge financial relief, honestly, because let's face it, maintaining good health in later life often comes with increasing costs for various treatments, medications, and aids. Having access to these kinds of extended healthcare benefits means you hopefully don't have to choose between getting a necessary dental procedure done or buying your groceries for the month, or maybe neglecting your hearing or vision because the cost of aids or glasses is just too prohibitive. It really allows you to maintain your health, your independence, and your quality of life without potentially incurring debilitating medical debt. So you see, these benefits, the provincial supplements, the housing assistance, the healthcare supports, they truly work in tandem, together with the GIS, to create a much stronger, much more comprehensive financial safety net. They address not just your basic income level, but also your fundamental needs for housing, health, and overall well-being, contributing to a more dignified, healthy, and truly vibrant retirement. They really illustrate the power of these interconnected support systems when they work well, all designed to protect and support our most vulnerable seniors.
They really do. These are all just incredibly important benefits, and hearing about them really shows how they work together, interlocking to create that stronger, more resilient financial safety net for our seniors. It's not just about one program in isolation, is it? It's about how they connect to provide that comprehensive, holistic support. Kind of like the layers of a strong, warm blanket on a cold day.
Exactly. A very good analogy. And, well, that pretty much wraps up our comprehensive guide today to the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the GIS, and those vital other low-income benefits that often come along with it. We've walked you through what GIS actually is. We've explained who typically qualifies, remembering not to assume. And we've shown you precisely how to access the free help that's available out there so you can apply with confidence.
And remember, please remember this, our cherished, lively, later life family. This is not a handout. Say it with me, not a handout. This is a truly vital part of our social contract as Canadians. If you qualify for the GIS based on your income, you have absolutely earned the right to this financial support. It is there specifically to help you live your later life with the dignity, the peace of mind, and the financial security that you absolutely deserve. Just think back to Eleanor's story again. She didn't know she was entitled to it, but once she found out, once she got help applying, it changed everything for her.
And by taking the time, like you're doing right now by listening, to understand these benefits, and then taking the next step to actively apply for the GIS if you think you might qualify, you are truly ensuring that your own Unlock Your Benefits journey leads directly to that financial security, that peace of mind you deserve for a retirement that's truly vibrant and meaningful. It really is about empowering yourself through knowledge and then taking control by taking action.
Couldn't agree more. Now, if this discussion today, if this information has been valuable to you, or perhaps more importantly, if you know a senior, a parent, a neighbor, a friend who could really benefit profoundly from hearing this information, please do us a small favor and hit that like button for this session. And even better, remember to subscribe to our Lively Later Life channel right now. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to click that little notification bell icon too, so you absolutely don't miss our next essential guide to unlocking even more benefits. We have so much more we want to explore together to help ensure your later years truly are your best years.
And we would absolutely love to hear from you, our listeners. If you still have a question bubbling up about the GIS after listening today, please drop it in the comment section below. Or maybe you've had a really positive experience with one of those community tax clinics or a seniors resource center that helped you apply. Please share that too. Your insights, your personal stories, even your remaining questions, they can be incredibly helpful, really inspiring, and certainly informative for other people in our lively later life community who might be facing similar situations or having the same questions. Let's really build this network of shared knowledge and support together.
Absolutely. Let's help each other out. So until our next time together, please take control of your finances. Make sure you understand all the entitlements that might be available to you, explore them to the fullest, and keep embracing your lively later life to the absolute fullest. You've worked hard, you've contributed so much, and you deserve to live these years with financial peace of mind and real joy. Goodbye for now, everyone.